Welcome to the LavaSlug podcast with your host, Michael Ginormous Dick Kid.
Jesus Christ.
And the rest. That's Kale.
That's Chili.
Dirty chili butthole
Chili
Nelson.
fucking Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
BDG right here.
Big Dick Grant.
Thought it was blood dick.
And then we have a guest. We actually have a guest. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Nick Quinn. I am a nomad of sorts in life,
Ooh.
but for years I've worked in the tech industry. What's that? For fidget?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, I've worked in the tech industry. I've owned my own Airbnb properties.
Nice.
I've been doing a lot of entrepreneurship and consulting for the last few years of my life. So I've worked in multiple industries, kind of just implementing technology and doing different types of like for instance, one of my recent projects is like a book editing project where I've been formatting and doing illustrations for books with digital like design software as well. So,
Nice.
Because I've been doing Photoshop editing for years and stuff.
So are you like directly hired by like a publishing?
So I
company?
found a writer
Okay.
who had already written some books and needed like the full blown process done to it. It's like they
Okay,
had
that's
lots
cool.
and lots of content maps built, pictures of characters, ideas, tons of character backstories, lore backstories.
So you just kind of help people bring that stuff to life.
He
Yep.
finds
They don't
things
have
and
the artistry. To
That's
make
right.
it.
I like try to find like what do they need to take the next steps into
and
the
that's
greatest
the
road,
shit he
yeah.
doesn't even know how to do necessarily.
learn it.
And he wants to learn
On the fly.
all these different
That's neat.
things. And when I first met him, I was like,
Have
okay,
you ever-
I don't have the bravery to try to fail in front of somebody. And this guy's like, I'm going to try.
That's neat, man.
That's what you got to do.
I respect that. Is that something that you do like on? Have you ever done that like on Fiverr or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've done some freelancing stuff on some of those platforms like Fiverr. However, most of my
Pull your
clientele,
mic in, Cal. Pull your mic in.
most of my clientele has been like word of mouth. People I've already known from the past or worked with in the past have kind of like networked me in with people. So
Right. It's not
That's pretty
what you know, it's who
yeah,
you know. And a lot
so
of
like
that.
one of my one of my larger first contracts that I got was with a past coworker that I worked with at Microsoft for a few years. And when we both left that company, he went off and opened up like a cafe and bakery with his family because they like had a family like food lineage that they were like they're
That's
all their
cool.
own recipes and stuff. So he knew of me and what I had been trained on. And I had for a short time went over to a 3D printing company, a startup. So I got like this launch into the startup company like
Don't you still have
culture
one?
and-
Don't you have a printer still?
No, I don't have a printer at the moment.
I have two.
but-
Yeah, I was about
I
to
got
say
3D printers
he
in
hasn't
place.
put them together yet, but maybe.
No, I've
I
got
haven't had
one.
a
I've got
good space
I've got
for it.
one that just needs a new extruder.
Oh, let's build firearms.
So the
Mhm.
type of printing that I'm the most trained in is stereolithography printing. So
Mhm.
like the Formlabs printers. That's
Yep.
the company I worked with was Formlabs.
So
Oh,
for us
nice.
dumb-
Those are
very
more
beginning.
fancier
So
than
for
mine. Mine's just PLA.
us dumb people who don't know what the fuck that word is.
Yeah,
you
I'll
just said.
explain it. Yep. So stereolithography literally means that you're turning something from a liquid to a solid via light.
Mhm.
So you're shining light on it, and it turns it from a liquid to a solid.
It's like drying.
Yeah, so it's like freezing
Pulls it
water. You know, like if we put it in a cold environment, it turns into a solid
Correct.
of sorts.
Okay.
But this literally turns it completely into a solid when it happens. And the way it works for the printer, it's pretty simple explanation is that it's just building any item in layers
Right.
by just using a Blu-ray laser to solidify those layers.
It's like
instead of
reverse how they used to carve stuff out of stone.
exactly.
We are like reversing that process.
Yeah, just building it little slice by slice. And then with a lot of the known printers that people are used to seeing, they use an extruder method where they literally like melt a little bit of plastic and lay it out on the table.
Mhm.
And then it will just lift itself up like a traditional printer and do that again.
What's the coolest shit that you've made on one?
40K.
personally.
Man, so working for the 3D printer company, or working for Formlabs, we had a printer on every desk in the whole company. So like
Oh,
I had
you could
my
just
own
abuse
exclusive- we could make anything we wanted. They like
That's
had no
rad.
limits, and I was working with hundreds and hundreds of engineers. And I was a test engineer of sorts. So I was working within the departments, finding bugs in the printer, creating documentation, and trying to like work out the issues with that form of printing, because it was newly invented only if like it was reinvented a few years before Formlabs came into existence.
Right.
So.
The technology and then the material had to backtrack and then retrack to be productive.
Exactly.
What's the coolest thing you made personally, though, just for fun?
So I'd say the funnest thing that I've made was like stuff like Iron Man suit shit and like straight up printing wicked high detail stuff with those printers.
Like scale models?
Yeah. And your layer lines aren't as detailed. You don't really see layer lines.
The jobs that I ever did working for Formlabs with the printer was that I worked with Tesla in the design of their, like helping with the design of their dashboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he fucking loves Teslas. Had a Tesla.
The Model 3 dashboard, essentially that like long strip.
Yeah.
They like used the Formlabs 3D printers at the time to like develop tons of the like little parts in that model before it came out.
That's great for prototyping.
The company was very small. We were like a team of 100 people for years. So
well, that's where you get quality.
Yeah. And what was nice is they just paired up certain companies with like people in the company like, yeah, this is your guy. Like, you know, that knows what and can help you with the printer. Because nobody had like a job for that specifically, which eventually became my like promoted position, was that they made a new department for me and I ran it. It was like an exclusive service thing people could pay for to get like extra services with the printer, extra like troubleshooting.
I want to shoot one off right now. What would you make if you had free reins and knowledge to run a 3D printer? What would you make?
Okay. You can't say chili.
Just off the top of your head. What would you do?
Real quick, we got to establish some guidelines with this shit, because this can get away from us really quickly.
Dude, just for like funsies, what would you make?
Yeah, just
plastic, metal,
anything.
We're not talking about metal 3D printing.
Organic
right
material,
like
like a human being. Like,
I would build a really cool door window system for like an outdoor area.
We're not there in today's technology.
I'm talking hypotheticals, okay? With today's technology, I don't know, probably. Fuck, I'd probably build a boat.
That's a good call.
I think I'd 3D print a fucking like. Because I've seen people 3D print cars before.
You can swing that.
Like, well, at least like parts to build a car.
Right.
You know what I mean, obviously, you just elaborated on the Tesla.
Yeah.
But 3D print a fucking boat. And bada boom, bada
like how those, you love those ski boats, the mini ski boats, don't you?
Yeah,
the little river
those
ones.
Things are nasty. They're indestructible.
Yep.
They're just smashing over whitewater rocks.
Fucking stumps and shit.
Nasty. They got like 600 horsepower.
I've gotten to ride in one.
That dude that owns that.
Cletus.
Cletus.
I've gotten to ride in one of the ones that he actually bought.
He eats at a restaurant all fucking time.
Yep.
Dude comes in there at least twice a week.
Yeah, he's cooler than a motherfucker too.
Cool as hell, man. But he's got videos of him with his little Mountain Dew on up in like, I think it's like Idaho.
Oh wait, we
just
totally skipped.
Mobbing.
How was New Year's, Christmas? Like,
well, let's finish this. Well,
well,
if I can finish this, because there's a popular benchmark in the 3D that's called a Benchy. It's a boat.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, a popular benchmarking tool for a new 3D printer. Somebody who's trying to get into it. That's one of the, you can test out layer lines, you can mess with it. It's called a Benchy, and it's a boat.
Didn't know that.
It's like a Steamboat Willie. So you could just build a big one of those.
That's
fuck
sick.
yeah, dude.
Yeah. It is a good item because in 3D printing, orientation of your parts matters, like when you're trying to create them. So like you can create air pockets by accident in a boat is an example of why it would be like a small and nice model to make, right?
Oh yeah.
One of the other cool things I'd say that that tech space is that they're now kind of seeping into all of these like any industry, like they're the Mandalorian TV show. The Mandalorian ship is printed with the 3D printer of the company that I work for. Yep, it's on the. There's like a documentary about Star Wars right now and George Lucas, and towards the end of it, they have the print, the Formlabs printer I worked with, the one I know, I could build it literally.
Nice.
Like I could build if I had all the parts right now.
They showed the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain at the end of that when they showed how they made
It was
that.
you.
Yeah. And what's cool is that back in the
No
day,
pants.
when they first made the original Star Wars, they had made up their own technique that like slowly moved a model across the room while cameras followed it.
Right, I've seen documentaries on how hard it was to do that.
Yeah, they like
because
invented it.
Yeah,
It was like not easy. It took, and like they had hundreds of their people working on it for like weeks.
it's
trying
like
to figure out how to make
claymation
it.
type, like at work ethic.
Right,
How
right.
much stuff they had to manipulate to get just minuscule results.
Yeah. So for the Mandalorian show, they came up with the idea of like, well, what if we make a model like we used to, just like of the ship, and we'll do the same thing. We'll make a new, better version of it in their new Disney studio, and we'll fly it across. And they were like, they used to take months making models because they would like buy like a bunch of like model tanks and planes and all sorts of random stuff, and they would
And then
break
retrofit
pieces
it.
off,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
retrofit to make stuff, and be like, oh yeah, you have to break the wing off of this one plane
Yeah.
this one way to make this piece of this one thing,
Yeah.
and then you'd have to make 10 of them
Yeah.
for like shots.
Jeez.
But with the 3D printer, they were like afternoon, the
Mhm.
whole thing's
Right.
done, and then the next day it gets painted and it's ready for the show.
Yeah,
Oh,
hit
like,
quantity
wild.
button 10 and then let them print. You're
Well,
good.
that's
Yep.
like gone in 60 seconds, like Eleanor.
Mhm.
There's only what?
No,
like
it's not.
There's like 6 of them in the world.
Not even close.
No. Hear me out.
Idiot.
Hear me out where I'm going with this. You fucking cuck.
You can't print
God.
chili.
I'm not printing fucking
I
chili.
know he wanted to print chili.
God damn
We
it.
all knew he wanted to print chili.
I'm gonna bring that up in a minute, but let me finish my goddamn thought. Fuck.
Watch your fucking language, please.
Jesus. fucking
Yeah,
Christ.
dude, this is the house of God. Anyway,
All right, tell your
after
story.
all these sinners. No, but in Gone in 60 Seconds, Eleanor, there's
Mhm.
only what, like 7 of the 67s left in the world?
Are you talking about that ugly Mustang?
Yeah, that shit.
Yeah.
Mustang.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking about
It's like
the,
I
2 tons in
genuinely
plastic.
didn't know, but I know
I'm
the car.
talking about the
Eleanor,
unicorn.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the worst.
It's not a Volkswagen. It wasn't made by Hitler,
But anyway,
so Grant doesn't like it.
In that movie, they crashed
Poor
like
quality.
they had to crash like 6 of them.
I know what you're talking about.
And
Yes,
so
I
they
do,
used
yeah.
65s and modified the body size.
Mhm.
If 3D printing was where it's at today,
Right.
back then,
Mhm.
they could have
They could have printed a bunch of
theoretically
bodies,
just printed a bunch of bodies and wouldn't have had to
put
spend
them on a
money
Corvette chassis, and then just had
Yeah.
a ton of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
wouldn't have had to buy all these 65 Mustangs at cost. And
But then there wouldn't be
Destroy
all
them.
these freaking like 65-year-old boomer guys that crank stick over that ugly Mustang.
yeah, that's true.
'Cause
They
they'd be
really
plenty
do
of-
crank
they crank
stick.
over that
Oh
thing.
my god.
There was a video of a 16-year-old
It's a
kid
nice
driving one through a
car,
wall
man.
in a
It
garage.
is.
I
It's
can
decent.
appreciate it for what it is, man. But Mustang, I'm a Corvette guy. Mustang fans are irrational.
Mustang has its years and has its
They beat their
bad
dicks
years.
so
They have
fucking
good ones
hard,
and bad
man.
ones, but yeah, the most Mustang guys don't acknowledge the fact that there were bad ones and were good ones.
Dude, the 80s. I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan
Those
of
Fox
Fox.
bodies,
The Salines,
You don't like the 4-eye
the
Fox?
Salines look stupid as shit. The
The
Fox
clam
body
box.
style was stupid as fuck.
Yep.
You can't convince me otherwise. The 60s, sick as fuck. They were awesome.
The fastbacks and everything
Yeah.
were gorgeous. Yep.
And then the 70s,
Most
it
cars in the
started to
60s were
trail off
badass.
a
Yeah,
bit.
because they were art.
Mhm.
Chevy stayed dope as fuck in the 70s.
Yep.
They were.
God
Eat
invented the
shit,
Remington
eat shit
bolt action.
Mustangs.
Most
God damn
things
it,
that
now
were
you got me
made in
hot
the
and bothered.
60s and 70s were pretty good. Like Kale's mom.
Shut the
Pretty
fuck
sure.
up.
They were
She was
good
made-
because they didn't have the
Had a
option
good
to
bot
keep
rear end.
reprinting them.
I'm
They
sorry.
did a better
This
job
is
and did
degenerate.
more work
I'm also
on
sorry.
the actual
Jody would never go for
prototypes
the
because
lights.
they didn't have an
I can't help
infinite amount of prototypes.
Right, yeah,
to be
they weren't
spent.
just pumping them out.
Right,
Yeah, and being
yeah.
like, yep, it's good, and just put it to production because we
Right.
made it happen fast or
Mhm,
whatever. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like that. I think we should be almost taking more time with things,
Right.
making things better, making products better.
Are you familiar with Pininfarina? They
No.
make Pininfarina made the Carmen Ghia. They're a car, like a third party group that designs cars for car companies. Like a lot of Ferraris are Pininfarina cars, and the Maserati Quadriport is a Pininfarina designed car. The Carmen Ghia, the Volkswagen, is a Pininfarina car. There's a couple of Alfa Romeos, and they do like they're hired third party from these major corporations to design a car that is beautiful,
That's sick. Actually,
and they still exist to this day.
it's
So-
like design
That's cool.
consulting,
Right?
essentially.
Yeah.
it's fucking
They're
dope.
like, we got a good idea for this car. We want to drop in 5 years. And now we want it to be like a statement piece. And they still do it the real way.
Who's that? What was it? Chuck Foose? Is that his
Chip
name?
Chip
Foose.
Foose.
Chip
Gosh.
Foose.
Good old Chuck Foose.
Chuck Foose.
Chip Norris.
Chip Norris. But yeah, he had that TV show back in the
Yeah.
day, and like he was real good with like the pinstriping. And
Right,
shit.
yeah.
Like his drawings were sick as fuck.
Yeah, they were sick as fuck. And I think he didn't do as much as he should have done with Pretty Things. I think he made a bunch of just Hot Wheels, like just super
Very
retarded
generic.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the top. But I mean, they were all well finished and perfect. But
Yeah.
he could have made some cooler shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hit me with some random mic. I love this part.
Oh, wait, what? Something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate technique artists. They're fucking stupid.
Technique artists. What is
You
that?
know what I'm fucking talking about, Kale.
I don't.
You ever see these fucking I don't know, on social media, these shorts or whatever, where somebody will have like a piece of
Don't touch mine.
Don't touch my stuff.
will have sexual intercourse with Grant, and
Wait,
they'll have like a painting, and they'll put a bucket of paint and pop a hole in it and spin it, and like, oh, I'm a fucking artist.
I think that's just more because kids nut over the ASMR and like the satisfaction type of genre.
What they like about it, that's technique. That's just a technique. Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
Or they'll drip water on it and
kinda like 'em,
spritz
though.
it.
I think I agree with
I'm sure-
Grant. I think the appeal is more so the video than the
Yeah.
art itself. I don't.
These artists are jacking
'Cause
themselves
these
off.
kids
They're breaking their
don't.
arms, jacking themselves off.
oh, sure.
Oh, I'm such a great fucking artist. You guys out here
I
fucking
completely agree.
100% like dotting perfect faces of Angelina
he
Jolie.
fucking hates these guys.
And
Yeah,
I
he
just
does,
every
yeah.
time I fucking see
My
it, you said
mom-
something random. I was
My
like, that's what I was thinking
mom's a
about.
huge Andy Warhol fan, and like,
Oh, your mom? Let me.
She
Andy
would-
Warhol.
Take your shit back.
so growing up, like she was very artsy and like in love with all that shit. And so we went to a lot of museums and shit like
Yeah.
that. And I said the same shit. I'd go to an art museum and be like, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't see it.
I don't get why this is $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Tax write-off for some rich dude? Sure, I get that. But $2 million?
But have you been to the Dali Museum?
I have. I
That's
love,
some of that shit in there.
I
I'm
love-
like, I get it.
I love Salvador Dali.
Okay, me too.
I get surrealism. I
Right.
get that. But
Warhols aren't special to
Jackson
me.
Pollock, for example, I like his artwork, but it's splatter art. He
Right.
literally just takes a paintbrush or a fucking
Mm-hmm.
thing and just slaps it.
Technique artist. Mhm.
And
Yeah, I guess you're right.
to
Yeah,
me, it's like that right there is like, okay, well, anyone
from the cast of The Ringer could have done this.
my dog could have done that.
Yeah.
He could have dipped his tail in the paint and splattered. Like, I'm not trying to degrade or like be an asshole. But
I am. Throw 7 hot dogs together, throw different color paint on it, and then squeeze them together, and that's fucking art.
you can sell like, you know, that's that. I'm
that
with you. It
hot dog
irritates the
texture.
piss out of me because art is one of those very finite groups that can be so loosely
Yeah, like what is it? Like,
Yeah.
what is art?
Yeah.
Is like,
like
you know.
Yeah.
like with
It's
Warhol.
kind of the fun of it for me too, though.
He painted a fucking can.
Yeah.
And
It meant a lot.
People shit their dicks. Like, we're like, oh my God, this is fucking, yeah, I gotta have it.
Well, you know,
What do you mean?
You know Matthew, the guy that does art at Kava at Adobe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to his place. He invited me to his home the other day to see some of his art. And I went in there to get he does oils and he's phenomenal. But I went in there to get like one very large one, like a 4x6, and then get a couple medium ones that are like 2x3. I ended up picking a stack of like 13 things because I sat around at his place and he explained to me like, oh, this one I did when I was staying in this abandoned church when I was homeless, and I painted on the tile on the floor and I put the canvas onto it, and then that
I
type
get.
of shit is so cool. And honestly, if I wasn't there to hear all those stories of the extra 9 that I chose, other than the 4 that I wanted, I wouldn't have wanted them. But it's that connection you have and him sitting there with me being like, how does this read to you? That was the big part of the art for me that I enjoyed. Go ahead.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I'll step in. So going back to your point of them is like what irritates me is that a video like what you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
can sometimes make millions of dollars, like $1 million,
Oh, yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then you can go to, I got to go to Art Basel last year in Miami.
I was there too. Yeah. Same time.
And so at shows like that, you walk past mind-boggling things that you're like, how
How
did
the hell
they
did they do that?
how did they figure out how to make this?
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
you can't figure it out, and it's
Something that's actually impressive.
It's a
like
feat of
piece art
engineering.
that, like, if somebody discovers this in an archaeological find, like thousands of years from now, they're gonna be like,
Pauly.
"What the
Yeah.
fuck is this?"
Pauly that used to hang out at Adobe. Dude was a fucking stupid good graffiti artist, and like I still have one of his
Is that
paintings.
Slim?
No, he's from Brooklyn, right?
Okay.
Is he from
I
Brooklyn or
don't know
Manhattan?
where he's from. I think it's here. I think that piece of art is here.
You got something?
I have it.
Yeah, I'll
Oh yeah,
finish the point.
you have
Yeah,
it here in the shop.
In the shop,
Yeah, yeah.
it's buried under.
Um,
It's painted on some wood.
Sick as fuck, dude. He literally took a piece of
Chopped it up.
plywood, slapped this graffiti on it, and it's double layered, dude. When you put a black light on it, like
Matt
it
had some
pops
stuff
out,
like that.
and it's sick
We
as.
should put it up in here.
Yeah, we definitely should, man.
Did you
Fucking
have a
slap it
point,
up
Nick?
on the wall.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is that some of those things have price tags on them that are like, $50,000, $100,000, and some of them at Art Basel, they'll be like literally like $10 million more sometimes. It's crazy. And so, but these videos that somebody's just like in their kitchen, like splashing ketchup and mustard on some sort of plate. And being like, here it is, the new style of art that people should get into. That it really does. It gets attention. It hits algorithms. It moves down the feed, and then money's just pouring
It becomes
into them.
worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yeah, and then there's these incredible, like almost historical pieces that people are making in our time period that are
That are
like
getting
struggling to
overlooked.
sell them right
Right.
now too,
That are
because
forgotten.
the art sale industry in the art sales
It's
is like
weird.
tanked huge
Yeah.
in the world. It's gonna change in time as time goes on again, but it's in a flux of like it's on the down. So.
Yeah. Some of these techniques, they're taking away credit from, or taking away attention from artists that are actually working.
Right. They're negating the skill and rewarding the
It's
presentation.
just technique, and it's popular on social media because probably ASMR or whatever, but it's also
And TikTok is so violent. I just
it's
can't.
easy, and anybody can be like, oh, I could do that. And this one sold for 10 grand. Like, did it? We don't know.
Yeah,
but
and
people
still
will believe
some of
it.
the bad things that people are like dabbling with. They're like, oh, I think I could do that. They'll put it out, and the algorithm will still like boost it for a week or
Right.
two,
Oh,
and then it'll go away because the person doesn't keep posting. But it's like it still takes away views. It's still is like causing like static.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
ripples
Like,
throughout the algorithm, and then the way that it's like the ripple flows much further than anybody can even trace.
Yeah,
Like,
because when people start to look up art, that's going to be the top
gonna be flooded
trending
with that
thing.
stuff.
that's a
Yeah.
good
And
point.
so that's all you're going to see. And so you're going to be guided to that. And more people are going to be drawn to it as an outlet. And people are going to oversaturate that one dimension of art. And
Right.
it sucks, man.
That art's like the OnlyFans.
My dad always said it
of
doesn't
art.
matter what
Well,
you do.
because so many people can do it because, like I said, I'm
It's a
not
technique.
trying to knock it,
Right.
but it's literally just, it's splatter art.
Yeah, you
man.
splatter,
Like-
you have some sort of technique,
And there,
right?
yes, I understand that there is a concept to it in the art world.
Mm.
There is a method to the madness,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't understand.
It might end up looking good. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, but you're not.
I love that
The
style of
colors
art.
could be representative of your emotions in that moment.
Mhm.
Cool, I get that. It's still just splattered on there. Like there's no placement on purpose.
And I always
Like,
love them. No, you go
and-
ahead. You go ahead.
and that's a big thing for me with art is purpose.
So going back to Art Basel quickly though, what's interesting to talk about the splatter art is I ran into this one artist there that does like splatter art. Is this girl?
Was she a tall blonde girl?
Nope, she was a
Okay.
short brunette, and she would do the splash painting
Mhm.
onto a canvas, and then she would handstand, no joke, and like do aerobatics. And paint upside down with like her feet and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
shit.
all this crazy. But the picture she ends up creating in the end is like unbelievable, like really detailed. Not like
That's pretty sick.
so. It
That-
starts
see, that would
off
be
with
sick.
some of that stuff, and those are like expansions to that. But
Mhm.
what we're talking about is the lazy version of it. It's like
Yeah.
you just do it. You take a straw and blow on it.
You're
like
more of
you
an
did when
engineer
were
than
in
you are
elementary
an
school.
artist. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're building these
Yeah, you're
contraptions.
following directions rather than
Yeah.
like feeling directions.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there was a guy that painted with his dick. He was
I know a girl personally that sells titty that she does art with her fucking tits.
on OnlyFans.
No, it's a girl that I knew in person, and she disappeared for like a year, and then she comes back doing this shit, and I'm like, wow, you really had a mental break.
Yeah, you're great. Yeah,
And
people are gonna buy that.
God bless her for making money off of it, but they're shitty drawings anyway. She
I
sells
mean-
the video of her making them to, it's like half
Yeah.
It's like half Fiverr,
Yep.
half OnlyFans.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
And the
Some
sad
people
thing is
selling
there's
their
people out
farts.
there that buy that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a kid too.
Thirsty dudes.
Bath water and dirty panties and shit. The fuck?
Yeah, men need to pull it together. We can't be having that shit.
So do you want one serious topic, or do you want to talk about how our New Year's and Christmas were?
Are we even? We could probably do that. Did we even finish the 3D print conversation? Because that was going.
I mean,
Yeah, we talked about some cool stuff.
yeah, because you
I mean,
could
we're
do
just-
you do metal 3D printing. You can do construction.
Yeah. Okay.
There's so
Let's push that fucking limit.
Go ahead.
then.
Yeah.
Because you've got experience with 3D printers.
Yeah.
You've got experience with 3D printers.
yeah. So my New Year's
You
is really
probably have a
good.
better knowledge than I do on 3D printers.
And I'm crazy.
How fucking close are we, since someone brought up chili, to 3D printing organic material?
Please.
There
Like-
is like food 3D printers, but it's like a packet.
I'm not
of
talking
some sort
about
of
that. I'm
material.
talking about a living organism that you 3D
Yeah.
printed.
You just print it.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
it's in
you
development.
shock it to life.
I've seen medical stuff where they'll print like
A heart.
cells into the shape of an ear, and it'll.
How is
kinda
that different
grow.
from doing in vitro and like joining like a sperm to
Yeah,
an
it's
egg?
going to take the same technology. It
Right.
will. It's
Mhm.
going to take DNA editing. It's going to
Well,
take
we can make
biogenetics, which truthfully, again, so I have this personal thought that all things, like in all technologies, have an evil or unhealthy side
Mhm.
and,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
a light and a healthy side, right?
Oh yeah.
And this one could be like really, really light, or it could be really, really dark. Like,
Yeah.
Same with
Dark
like an
it
AI
gets.
thing, you know. Like
Mhm.
these are the same like caliber of conversations for sure.
Yep.
But it would be needed for the 3D printing to be established enough where you could just be like in a lab consistently. It's got its cartridges all plugged in. You just say,
Yeah.
print me this organ. I think on a human technological advancement scale, we've been going at an exponential rate. So it won't be long because we have all the DNA tech there. However, there are huge, like, not even, they're just like people are coming to halts in the
Oh,
DNA
yeah.
editing industry.
Have you
because
heard about-
of how crazy it is?
Have you
Because of
heard
the
about-
ethical side of
Well,
it.
they
The
don't
possible ethical,
Are we
ethical
playing
side,
God
exactly.
by
We will be.
reintroducing shit?
We will
Yeah.
be at some point. We'll be resurrecting species.
Well, the mammoths, they're
can
already
print
trying to do that with the
Go
CRISPR
ahead.
technology.
We can print our own hookers.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
That's what you're trying to get at.
He's
He's like, I want.
I knew it.
organs.
Chili.
I was like, why?
And
you can
hookers.
have all the chili you want and all the hookers you want.
What's up, dude? I'll never have to leave my house again.
They'll be clean too.
I'm
Chili.
wondering
Hookers.
if Nick has heard of the theory about its exponential expansion, or there's a word similar to that phrase where it describes around 2044 that we have finally compiled enough information about enough things to use the AI and the amount of technology we have through computers to basically figure every fucking thing out
singularity?
that we've figured out.
I think it's what they call
It
it.
just all connects at a certain point in the next 20 years, 30 years, where we've compiled enough information and let the computers fill in the gap of all of this shit, where we reach a spot of exponential like knowledge. And it's either going to go dark or good.
I think
That's
it's.
right,
I think
yeah.
they call it like a singularity. It's when, or that might be the point when AI becomes smarter than man and we can't control it anymore.
Right.
But we're gaining knowledge to that point.
Right.
But
We need this knowledge and we need AI to connect a lot of these dots for us.
we don't have the hardware to do it.
Did you have something?
Yeah. For the AI conversation, it's like it's always gonna be how like this thing that we're making has application in everything. This is a very odd piece of technology that is like,
It's a mind tool.
yeah, it's like it literally affects everything. It
Mhm.
can be made, they can be made and fine tuned
Well, you
for just like
saw-
almost anything.
The Chat GPT-4.
Mhm.
You saw like where it was like trying to deceive the other like it was basically like trying to get something to write out the CAPTCHA on like a website to prove it wasn't a
Mhm.
robot.
It
And,
hired
like,
somebody on Fiverr
Oh, yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it
Did that
was
in 5
basically
days too, didn't it?
it was
For free, yeah.
lying and like basically it was they
Malicious
could see
consciousness.
they could see the thoughts that it was having. Like, I have to figure out how to deceive this thing. So like it
Mhm.
consciously thought out like, hey, let me hire this guy to do this for
It's
me.
like iRobot
That's terrifying, dude. Like,
Yeah, and
that's
now it's already out.
absolutely
So
terrifying.
Pandora's box is open.
Yeah,
There is
man.
no turning back. Everything that was warned by some of the people who are building the AIs
Yeah.
about letting this out of the box the way that they did, they already did it. It's over. People took the Chat GPT models when they first released them, and it's already. I was talking to my friend Jordan about this today. Is that there is already now, and I've already made and started dabbling with some of my own. It's
Auto
easy
GPT.
enough for anybody to learn if
You
you just
have-
dabble in it. But
Yeah.
you can make your own. Look, the first step of it is that you can make your own offline.
Yeah,
AIs.
you can host on your own. You have to have the graphics cards to be able to handle it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
processor.
Yeah, and it's more so you need space. You need
Mhm.
actually larger hard drives than what we're used to having.
The
because-
NVIDIA A1s or whatever, those graphics cards that are specifically made for artificial intelligence.
Yep.
That would be definitely helpful. But yeah, large sums of,
Oh yeah, you guys can
space.
nerd out on. He's phenomenal.
because I was running
building-
I was running Auto GPT for a while, but I obviously had to have a link to it. So
Yeah.
every individual who's interested in it, you don't have to be intelligent,
no,
can run your own Chat GPT, or there's others. There's a French company
Yep.
that has their model that is like based on a series of experts, which each AI would have its own series of experts.
Yes. So that's the next piece I'm getting at. I've already built one of these of my own. That's how it really is easy enough where like
For real?
we're in the YouTube world
It's not bad. It's already like
where
you
we
get
can
how they-
learn anything right away. And if you know about software development even a little bit, like the GitHub world we live in,
Mhm,
and the
GitHub,
way
yep.
that
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
I'm on
learn
Hub.
about how people are writing code and get up to speed faster
Mhm.
now than anybody's ever been able to do. Microsoft, like about 3 months ago, not long ago, 3 months ago, released what was called Microsoft AutoGen,
Mhm.
which Microsoft is like the one that owns all the ChatGPT data.
Right.
And so I know, right? It's like, oh, good.
They've owned
I
all that
feel safe
information
with that.
forever. Yeah.
But what was I going? Where was I going with this?
You and the
Zach.
Jude made your own.
Major own. It's to the point to where even if you
Yes.
don't have
Okay.
a
Yeah.
lot,
AutoGen. Yep.
Yep.
So with AutoGen, what it does is it pulls in an API key for ChatGPT 4, Google Bard, all these different services. And for the Microsoft one, it just uses multiple instances of ChatGPT's different ones. So one will be
Oh, okay.
3.5 turbo, one will be 4.5, one will be 4. Like they all have these different abilities and
and an
different
API
roles.
is just a key to be able to access something.
Yeah,
So
what
in
it's
your
gonna-
software will be
So
able
they're
to go to
compiling dependent variables.
Yeah, and you write a simple piece of Python code essentially
Right.
that allows these things to work independently as a team. You give them positions and you literally hire them as workers.
So you make a
it does
roster.
cost money when you use an API. You get
Yeah.
charged every
You
time
make a roster,
query.
right?
And
Yep.
some services,
Exactly.
because you can
Yep.
you can have you can grab Google's API and have your AI searching the open web, like
Yep.
Auto GPT. That's what I had, and I had to learn that. I didn't really know, but the crazy part was I had ChatGPT teach me how to do it while I was doing it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
actually.
I was trying to get it to make me a crypto algorithmic trading platform, and at that point, it wasn't there yet, right? I
Yeah.
didn't, and I couldn't get it done, but it took up a lot of fucking space.
Yeah,
A
with
lot of fucking space.
fine-tuned models.
But it was going. It was
Yeah.
just fuck. I felt like a hacker. I was like, oh, I'm so fucking smart.
Yeah.
you are so smart though.
Thank you, Grant.
Yeah, and
No,
all
I
it takes is just
yeah.
dabbling, and you have to just be willing to explore and adventure these things.
It's one of my favorite
and-
parts about you as a human is you're not afraid to fail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm-
I love to just
I'm
explore and play
completely
with
out of my
things and
element
tinker.
Right now, listening to this, I'm like, what the fuck? are
Me
these
too,
guys
but the more
talking about?
I listen to it, the more comfortable
Like
I
it's
feel with it.
so interesting to listen
Yeah.
to, but like that whatever key you were talking about.
The API key.
The API key. It just lets you use it. Just
Yeah,
it just
what it
opens
is
up
it's almost
the
like
software.
it lets you use the Chat GPT's powers, all of its abilities, in an app you're building. So
Okay.
what it is like I could build my own app literally and call it Nick's GPT,
Mm-hmm.
put it out on the Apple App Store, and
Gotcha.
just quite literally have an API that has a chat. I've designed a chat thing. You could make the identical app that they have and just and do it. And it would cost me a little bit of money every time somebody queries with me.
Yeah.
So like just a bit, it would charge you. But this is the thing. When you start dabbling with the AutoGen thing, you're letting a bunch of AI who are
Yeah.
hyper fast, way fucking faster than
Run.
you and I
Yep.
are, all talk to each other, have conversations, gather information, and try to solve the original problem you gave it.
Right. Where's the
You're
SOS button
creating-
on that?
Yep.
You have to be there
and-
looking at it.
You're creating a hive. I mean,
Yeah, and if you
Yep.
you have to like you pretty much just have to cut them off when you're learning how to
See-
do it
Yep.
sometimes because
You
they
have to-
just go and like
Because I let mine run all night.
this is what I've always said, man. It like the whole Terminator thing of this like big tech company like releasing AI onto society. Not really gonna happen. It's gonna be some fucking 13-year-old or 15-year-old kid that starts
Yep.
writing his own
It's already
fucking
out of the box.
AI,
He's
and
right.
he gets pissed off at the world and decides, oh, I'm gonna fucking get back at
Yep.
him.
That's
They're
a good
gonna
idea,
expand
Kel.
the software.
I mean,
and do something
that's
evil.
horrible.
Yeah, that's
They'll
not bad.
do-
Yeah, we
But-
should.
But that's always
That's the
been
potential
that's
of it,
always
though.
been my side of it, and it's the same thing I
Mhm.
said with the fucking drones. I don't think civilians should have these things. I think you should have to have a fucking license for them.
I think you have to have some sort
how
of
easily-
FAA approval
Certain
to fly.
Dude,
Licenses.
how easily somebody could fucking figure out how to mount something toxic, something deadly to one of those cocksuckers,
It's not hard.
fly it into a fucking stadium.
Yeah, there's no need for
Tell
Middle
me
Eastern
that's
kids
not
anymore.
possible.
No, it's 100% possible.
We deal with that shit
they,
here.
they have
all
drones
the
that can
fucking
pick up
time.
people. It's just the weight.
Yeah. So another thing,
That's terrifying.
we have the same existential threat though in even the bio editing and hacking thing that I was
Mhm.
explaining, which is that it's so accessible in the CRISPR stuff that if you've heard about that, is so accessible truly to humanity that's why the big halts have happened because they're like, holy crap, people can do this in their home.
Right.
Biohackers can do
So-
CRISPR. You can order the stuff online.
Yeah, it's
You
wild.
can print it. There's a software you can
You
use.
can make like
That's
jack frogs and
crazy.
stuff.
That you
and,
can
like,
make it-
glow in the dark frogs.
Yeah,
Like,
test it.
crazy
There's
shit.
a guy making glow in the dark dogs.
Yeah,
I watched
he was
some-
working on that.
He had like 4
Dark
teeth,
dog.
and he's
Yeah.
doing biohacking in his fucking shed.
That makes me nauseous.
Bioluminescent dogs.
That's
yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
There's
man.
glow in the dark fish. Those are genetically,
Yeah.
but you can order the proteins you need to build that from a lab. You could
That's
do this.
right.
You can,
fucking
there's a
crazy.
program. You could set it all up for whatever you want to do. You can fuck with it forever, and then send that map to a company, and they will make the proteins for you
So
and send it back to you, and then you can implement them.
Just imagine you're minding your business, take a couple hits of acid, okay? Have a great fucking evening. And
Yeah.
you wander down the street and your fucking hillbilly ass CRISPR technology loving neighbor has a 3-headed dog that's glowing and you just took a couple hits of acid. You're never going to trust anything
what is real?
ever again.
You could
Because
engineer
one, it's-
yeast.
I'd
to
probably be
make
able to write it
LSD
off.
for you.
I'd be able to write that off in my head, being like, I was tripping. That did not happen.
and
I would
you're
compart-
sleeping
Dude,
next
that'd
to
be
it.
I would
terrifying.
compartmentalize it. Yeah.
It's got glowing hairs. Like, oh my god, this is amazing.
What's a little more trauma, you know?
You could literally make your own yeast that would like shit LSD
For
if you
beer?
wanted to.
Or beers.
If you weren't getting high on LSD all the time, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just
Sounds
out
like
here.
You're out
fucking-
here doing it.
Sounds like that's the route. he's
Tripping.
looking for.
Yeah, he's the fun route. He's
Yeah.
the expensive route.
So imagine when you start pairing, the next stage of AI, training like not very smart humans, honestly, like really
No, you're
fast, and they're using a tool that like does all this crazy fast stuff paired with just home editing of DNA.
Mhm.
We're about to have like just
And
random ass
3D
fucking
printers.
kids who could just breathe underwater for 10 hours.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
shit. Like,
Well, we were trying to figure out how certain proteins fold automatically in like and like AI figured it out.
yeah.
Like within the last like 2
Great.
years. I guess we didn't
Jurassic
really know
Park
how.
is
Great.
going to be here very soon.
Next year, the first
That's
mammoth.
that's a
Dude,
great
the
statement.
mammoth.
No, think about it. What if AI uses 3D printers and CRISPR technology
together?
to give themselves
Super being.
velociraptor bodies, and they
That's what I would
fucking
do.
reintroduce themselves with AI technology
totally could.
running fucking raptor
We're gonna need
bodies?
some more of those iron domes that we put out in Israel.
But then the honey badgers would
Send
come
the
in.
honey badgers.
Send
dude.
the hordes
The
of honey.
horde.
Hordes of honey badgers.
But dude,
we'll
think
have our
about
own
it.
DNA edited
That's
ones.
why.
Yeah.
That's
be
why I
sick,
asked.
right?
That's why I asked about 3D printing like bodies, because I'm afraid of like some Age of Ultron shit, like where he's just like, yeah, man, I'm here, I'm in a body, I'm gonna print a whole bunch more.
I wish
Yeah.
they were hookers, like you said, though.
Hooker
Yeah,
bots.
dude, if they were hookers, that'd be cool. But
Hooker
if they're
robots.
here to fucking kill us all,
No,
because it's hilarious.
Voltron was an idiot.
It's hilarious that we
Yeah,
tried
he
to.
fumbled.
Or Ultron. I said Voltron.
Ultron.
but
He fumbled.
Ultron. Yeah, he should have stayed quiet. Why
Yeah.
was he fucking around with that first appearance?
Trying to flex, man.
just stay silent, stay on the internet, wait.
Yeah,
You're
and how do we know that that's not already happening? Truthfully,
Because
though.
it is.
Yeah,
it
because
probably
it
is.
Like,
Thanks. Now I'm
I
not
agree.
sleeping tonight. Nick.
Well, dude,
No, sleep.
Every
It might be
single
the last
But
thing you
AI
get to.
is singularly a solution to it, though. At the
Mhm.
same time, like
every single movie
yeah, it's a double-
has been the same.
It's scary when the weapon.
We create
shield.
AI
yeah,
to
a big
solve
one.
all of our problems, and we all know what the fucking problems are. It's human beings. It always
I
has
was just
been.
about to say.
And
Yeah,
so we
not enough
introduce
hookers.
AI.
Yeah.
AI realizes very quickly that, the issue is you guys. So
God
it
bless AI.
eradicates us.
No more hookers.
That's the cycle. That's what happens. Like it realizes, all these problems would go away if we just
With the
got rid of you
hookers.
guys.
You want to know what's really crazy? Is that
Mhm.
we as humans realized it first, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
We know.
Like,
we know
because
we're
honestly,
the
like,
problem.
we don't actually fully, as we've known it right now,
Yep, you
have a
nailed
super
that.
intelligent AI that has taken those paths. Actually,
Mhm.
Right.
we've trained some to like have dialogue that's human-like, but these are still computers. Like ChatGPT,
Yeah.
it is just a
It's
bunch of
bound.
servers.
Mhm.
It's very bound.
Yep.
It's
Mhm.
also trained on biased data,
Mhm.
which is not good.
Yeah.
So. That's so there'll be an insurgence again of more and more learning, and people just like the crypto industry has
Oh,
taken
yeah.
this long from 2013, a big long trek up to now of growth. This is baby, like
Mm.
this just freaking started.
Well, and like you just said, it's scary that it can have a bias. You know what I mean? Like it can be educated with a bias, and
Yeah.
like
yeah,
what
and
if you
any
don't-
custom
what
one
if
that you
you-
make can be too.
what if
Unfortunately,
you
Racist
don't fit the
robots?
mold? Like what if it is a racist robot? Like
It would be developed by Volkswagen,
Yeah. Yeah. Volkswagen
but
Audi
you know
group.
what I mean?
but it
Like,
would run forever.
What if it's
would.
set to target your demographic?
Make it
You know
work.
what I mean? Like
White males with podcasts.
So-
How dare you?
Damn it.
I wanted to say on behalf of all the slugs, all the lava slugs,
Yeah,
that we
slugs.
love our AI overlords.
We've almost been doing
eat
a
shit and
semi.
die, you fucking
No, no.
toaster.
Don't you fucking put that on
Don't
me.
you say.
Don't you put that on me.
I
He
will
didn't mean
fuck
it. He did not
you
mean it.
like a flashlight.
But in
We
all
love Microsoft.
seriousness,
I love my
we
flashlight.
have been kind of running a partial like production experiment where a lot of the stuff that we've been doing to set up the logistics of this, we've been running through like AI
yeah,
and
Yeah, the D
it's
script.
kind of
it's the
like it
best
worked pretty well.
outlining tool that's ever existed to man right now at
Mhm.
its current state. It's like
Oh,
it
yeah.
can outline
Mike uses
anything.
it for everything.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Mike uses it,
Love it.
and
It's a better learning tool. I've
Barely
learned,
talk.
he doesn't fail.
I completely replaced it as like a language learning tool at
Mhm.
one point of just like learning information about different languages and what words mean and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's-
as an assistant, as like a very bare like bones AI, it's fucking awesome for what it's been able to do right now. But that's what scares me is like there's always going to be that weaponization of it. It's always
Mhm.
going to happen. With any technological breakthrough, it always happens that way that it gets weaponized.
Yep.
And it just takes the wrong fucking person to get it.
Yep.
And then we're all
But
fucked.
see, this is what we've also arrived now. What I've noticed at this time of history, where in our country regulation is so slow that for some
Oh,
reason
absolutely.
the evil thing will do it. It's evil anyway. It's like fuck laws.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah,
do
hookers
it.
Yeah,
are
the
already
bad guy-
kind of
the
evil.
bad guy's going to
I'm
get
still-
it
Yeah,
going.
and good
You
is
know what
like,
I mean?
I'm going to follow the laws because I
AI
see the
hookers.
goodness in that
Yeah.
in some sort of way. And so, so there needs to be some sort of like awareness of like, well, what is the really good side, and
Mhm.
how do we fast track that development and get to it first? Like, we need to
Mhm.
beat the bad guys to things first.
It's so unfortunate though because
Who are
there's
the bad
always
guys?
there's always just
Well,
shitty
they've
people
always got
coming
the
out of the
funding.
woodwork.
The bad
Sure,
guys always
as long
have
as
the
time-
money.
but there needs
Like,
to be good guys
that's
coming out of the
the-
woodwork too.
We need Will Smith and iRobot.
G.I.
True.
Joe, they always the bad guy Cobra always has money. They, you know what I mean? Like
It's true.
the good guys have to fucking do like DoorDash on the weekends and start a GoFundMe and sell
And don't
Girl
know how to
Scout
make money.
cookies. Yeah.
Or pussy.
Could probably
Yeah.
use some of the couple trillion they lost in Building 7 in the World Trade Center, but that,
Whatever that means.
whatever that means.
The iRobot point was an interesting one though, because in that movie, that one of the robots was built like for humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
the only one that was right. But we
yeah, and
persecuted
imagine
it.
if all of them were that though.
Yeah.
Like how
Well-
crazy that huge army of all of those AI robots would have been if they were truly all these amazing, helpful servant robots that,
and they're in everybody's house, and then they just snap.
right. Yeah.
In fact, here's the question though: if AI is in every way smarter, better than the human mind, and it decides that the best thing is to take out humans,
I've heard that theory.
is it right?
I mean, it's right for
present-
its
No,
logistics.
it's a solution
I mean,
because it's
It
just
found a solution.
well.
and it's like,
I'll say
well,
why it's not right. Because we trained it with data. No matter what, we are the ones that are going to always end up giving it access to things. It'll try to find things, but it's not going to have ultimate access to our dimension, like this world.
Yeah, but
It
like
won't.
if it
Even with
claims
cameras,
sentience,
that the claiming sentience means that we have to build it a body,
the AGI.
and it could have
But
a
that's what I'm
factory
saying.
build itself a
Yeah.
body and all that stuff, and a super sentient one that's trying to
Once
like,
it gets
run
to
from
itself, where it can
somewhere else.
actually ask its own questions instead of just putting words together that
EMPs
resemble a
exist.
question. Yeah.
This thing runs on electricity. We built the grids.
That's a good point.
but
That's
it
another good
would
point.
know that anyway.
Yeah, but,
So instead of
also,
like Ultron, it would stay quiet.
I think
for
it
a
would
while.
stay quiet for.
I think
for,
it's murking around right now. That's why I love it so
I
much. It's
think
so smart and
it's
strong.
gonna be in like a constant.
He does fucking love it.
It's gonna be in a constant tug of war, like we all are with good and evil, because we've designed it to be like us in a way, in the way it processes information. So I think it's in its own. It'll be in it. It's if we make an AGI, it'll be in turmoil.
Mhm.
I think
Don't
it'll
worry,
be trying
Mike.
to figure out the answer. Also,
I
Yeah.
got you.
It'll
When
put things together.
when the AI takes over, I'll snap you out of this.
We'll get a couple of hookers at least.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, we'll
I don't
live
need
like
a lot of
kings.
them.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna let you live in this spell for long.
The server rooms in our AI overlord's brain are going to need water cooling, and as a plumber, I will provide that.
That's
service.
true. That's
and
very
then
true.
flood them.
No, I will never do that.
Oh yeah, you
My-
will.
He's not flooding his hookers.
Yes, you will.
I'm not doing it.
He's gonna flood his hookers
If you're going to be my
internally.
VP,
These
you're
hookers are
do
going to
this.
be like anime girl hookers, except the adult ones,
So
not
you
the little
never
girl
see
ones.
the tits. You never see anything.
Huh?
They're going to be like anime girls.
But they're
right?
like real life.
you
anime
never
girls.
see anything.
Like I'm blind.
Like no, like you're always close to
Oh,
seeing a
yeah.
nipple or like.
but it's always
It's-
just a
you never
tantalize. Like
see
you
like
it.
never
the
actually
like
see.
the Girls Gone Wild commercials that we
Yeah.
always used to.
Yeah, you'd wait up to see
Legendary.
those, dude.
Yeah.
11:00. You just
Yep,
it'd be coming on
right
yeah.
after that show, Mansters.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, what a legend.
Legend.
Oh, what a great
I love
day. But yeah, man, don't worry. I won't let the AI take you.
All right. How was everybody's New Year's? Go.
My New Year's was great. Other than you being not there, he was on a trip.
Yeah, I went on a horrible.
They were supposed to kiss at midnight. And they didn't get to.
Yeah,
We kissed over the phone.
I got to.
They
I
kissed
got
over
to kiss
FaceTime.
I got to kiss my lovely girlfriend. She's very good. But yeah, we were all together. We had a good night. It was just a mellow night at the spot.
That's probably what I would
Nothing
have been
crazy.
doing.
Yeah, nothing bad happened, so it was good.
That's good. I went out of town. I went to Kentucky for my cousin's wedding, but I ended up getting real fucking sick. So it was a nice wedding. It was very religious.
Yeah, you went to another state in the middle of winter with a fucking backpack, and that's it.
And that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Thugging it.
Thugging it. And then I got sick like the day I landed.
That's awesome.
Then I made it to the wedding. But the Midwest right now is all gray. The sun didn't come out
It's
ever.
awful.
And it was cold as shit, but it wasn't snowing. It would try to snow and then it didn't. So it was just gray and everything was dead and it was cold. And you wanted to be inside, but it was miserable.
Forced.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
How was yours?
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Mine was great. I went to St. Pete, and there was just like events, all kinds happening all around. So I walked
Oh, nice.
around for a couple of hours there, and then I met up with a bunch of people at a hookah bar. And I
Mhm.
just we did hookah into the new year. It
Nice.
was dope.
I haven't
love
done
it.
hookah in forever.
I know the
Nice.
same, and
Yeah.
it was like
You
it used to
super
be
big.
a very like ceremonial thing from like another time in my life.
Me
So it was
too.
one of those like
too.
it's a nice thing to do. It's nice that it's something that like it's not like everybody owns a hookah at their house. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
So
It's
it's
a
like
big
it really is a
thing.
treat when you go out
Yeah.
and do
It
it.
is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I worked. It was a fucking. It was a banger of a day though. I remember. I met up with Grant later that evening.
Yeah,
to
we spent it
share in,
together.
Oh, really?
sharing my joy.
Yeah, he did have a very good.
You're both
dude.
fired.
I told you about my day at work.
Oh, yeah. Big money.
Yeah, it was fucking
BMK.
awesome. I made $1,000, Chris. New Year's Eve at work. I had a table who I had just served them like 3 weeks ago for the first
Yeah,
time.
they think he's a Make a Wish kid because
Yeah.
he's bald.
Because of how
Because of
tall
my
he is.
bald head. But yeah, man, they came in and their bill was like $400 and something, and They ended up giving me $900 cash. And then I was like, there is a mistake here. Nope, let me bring this back. And she's like, no, let's I ended up crying. She gave me a big hug, man.
You deserve that, though.
Yeah, it was cool as fuck, man. It was a shit year last year. So, like, to end it like that. And I won my fantasy football league.
Dude,
I've been playing fantasy football since 2007. I've never made the playoffs, yet alone the championship. And I won that cock.
Nice.
Done.
So
Congratulations.
I made $1,200 that day.
That is sick.
And then I came and hung out with these guys at fucking Adobe and
Just to
rang in
top
the
it
new
off.
year.
That was perfect.
Dude, it was tits
That's a
up.
good New Year.
It was
Mhm.
fucking awesome, dude. You can ask Grant. I was on cloud fucking nine that night.
Yep.
He's the New
Nice.
Year champ.
I was
He
raging,
is.
dude.
He won the new year.
My nips were hard all night.
Nice.
Couldn't duct tape them down, dude.
Couldn't
tell me
do it.
nothing.
It burned right through the duct tape.
Yeah, man.
Burn right
But-
through the duct tape.
So yeah, man, starting the new year
Yep.
off
You do
right.
that. I'm not editing that out. You are a fucking
Yeah, you got fucked
scumbag.
with
Hey,
that
man.
one.
Jeez. But
We're drinking.
all right.
I'm drinking Modelo, man. You can't blame me.
I got you. On that. I'm gonna close it down. I think that was a good podcast.
Good sesh.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're close enough to an hour. It's fine.
Yeah, man.
Big Cock signing off.
Big from the LavaSlug studio, the Roach Infested studio.
Get the fuck out.
Slithery, sluggy boys.
Slithery Sluggy Boys. Like, subscribe,
boy Nick.
follow, give us
Yeah.
money.